All right. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is O'Neill Catnell. I'm out of Jacksonville, Florida. Really, I'm truly excited to be on this call tonight. Definitely, you're at the right place at the right time to hear some information that will be impactful to your life and your future. It's all about the synergy story of convergence, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm extremely excited to be here and be part of one of the hosts that is on the call tonight. The story of synergy is about factors and different things coming together to meet at the same point to create a wonderful opportunity for people to benefit their health and also their financial status. Just a brief summary of who we are. Name of the company is called Synergy Worldwide, was founded in 1999, began operations in Tokyo, Japan, and expanded throughout all of Asia so rapidly that Entrepreneur Magazine ranked us 8th in the hottest growing companies in the United States without a single U.S. transaction. We grew throughout Taiwan, Thailand, Korea, Singapore, Australia, and all over Europe. And we just really, unprecedented growth to where in 2000, we were acquired by a huge company by the name of Nature Sunshine, okay? Because of our growth at a staggering pace, in 2000, we became a wholly owned subsidiary of Nature Sunshine. So who is Nature Sunshine? It's a 45-year-old company established in 1972, okay? Tremendous credit rating, 518 credit rating, enormous research and development department. They have over 33 biochemists and researchers on staff full time, to conduct product formulation, scientific validation, human clinical studies, ingredient testing and so forth to ensure that everything that we stand behind is of the highest level of efficacy, potency, okay, and backed by real science. Named Nutraceutical Company of the Year, named 37th most ethical company in the United States. Forbes ranked us, in the top 100 most trustworthy companies. And Nature Sunshine was the first company in history to encapsulate herbal products. That's our foundation. That's where we're coming from to share with you this wonderful story tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Our founder, Mr. Dan Higginson, has stated that, we are very strong, stronger than ever, and we are proud to be a part of the Nature Sunshine family. And for the first time, we're offering in history, Nature Sunshine and Synergy offer a ground floor opportunity without the ground floor risk. Now, tonight we're going to be more product centered, and we're going to share about Synergy's products, ladies and gentlemen. And, we have the best products in the world because they're validated by real science that is implemented into our product line. Now, our products are unique, consumable, proprietary, and leading edge in technology. We operate in the nutritional market, the weight management sector, the skincare, and fitness. So we cover all the spectrum of wellness, total wellness. So we're fantastic. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about our product technology. And tonight we're going to highlight, we have a flagship product that is unprecedented. That is, we're seeing so much testimonial, but it's valid. It's based on real science. It has its own human clinical studies behind it. And that is the Proarginine Complexer. But tonight we have a very special guest that's going to also elaborate on the microbiome technology. And, for those who don't understand what microbiome is, he's going to go into it in further detail. So without further ado, Dr. Sandberg, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us, Dr. Jim Sandberg out of California. I know you have studied the Synergy line of products very in-depthly because you wanted to make sure, when you speak, you're speaking, from validity and real documented facts. And, if you could take time and just explain to the people simplistically, what is the microbiome and what they're seeing, that is beneficial for health and so forth.
Yeah, I was actually really excited when Synergy brought this line out because in my last call, if people were on it, we talked about what Proarginine does for blood pressure and diabetes and even congestive heart failure and renal failure. But we talked about why it's so effective with Alzheimer's, dementia, and all these autoimmune conditions. And the reason is when you do not get enough oxygen, tissues get inflamed. And when they get inflamed, they're open to all kinds of disease processes. In fact, I've got a 2004 Time magazine basically saying inflammation is the basis of all diseases. Why Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, on and on and on. When you do not get enough oxygen, that's one of the main inflammatory pathways. That's why we see so many results besides blood pressure and everything else. Well, the other main inflammatory pathway is the gut. And that's what really excited me when they brought this on, is that is basically shutting down the other inflammatory pathway. And the gut, we all know what probiotics are, and, eat yogurt because it's good for your gut, but what does that really mean? Your gut is so important for overall health. And you can have a healthy gut or you can have an unhealthy gut. And sadly, pretty much everybody has an unhealthy gut. There's certain bacteria and microbes that live in our gut that do incredible things. And on the same sense, when you have a bad gut, they're doing very bad things. If you look at it this way, if you look at your intestines, if you stretch them out, you'd have 40 yards of small and large intestine. It's all curled up in your belly. Well, if you took a sample at the top of your intestine, it would be like water. It would be like a slushy. And if you took a sample, or like when we defecate, it's a solid. Well, what happens is the body reabsorbs all that water. It wants to conserve water, right? It doesn't want to waste it, right? You'd have to drink, 10 gallons of water every day if you didn't reabsorb that water. Well, if you have a bad gut, okay, those bad bacteria are making a bunch of poisons, a bunch of inflammatory markers, a bunch of signaling molecules that do bad things to the body. 7-8 months ago, they showed that Parkinson's, most Parkinson's, not all, because I know we've seen great results with Parkinson's protein, but comes from the gut. It comes from the gut. They proved that. There's a nerve that goes from the base of your brain to your gut called the vagus nerve, and that's the one that basically does all the digestion, absorption, and making you put out enzymes and everything else. Well, when you're making all these inflammatory markers and poisons in the gut, they're reabsorbed, and they travel up that nerve to the base of the brain and cause all kinds of problems. That's just one thing. It's so important. If you Google right now the second brain, that's the gut. And why do they say that? Well, we've always known you've got the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. There's a third nervous system called the enteric nervous system. It's in your stomach. There's literally communication between all these microbes in your gut, but also with the rest of your body. Like, I don't know if any of you have done our program, but most people will tell you that they've gone on it, even for a few days, they're happier. They feel better mood. Why is that? Well, the two happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine, like 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut when you have a good gut bacteria. And when you don't, you're not making serotonin, you're not happy. And it makes about half of the dopamine. Those are the happy molecules in your body that good gut, you got them, and bad gut, you don't. So many things happen when you have a bad gut. And why do we have a bad gut? Well, what do we drink water out of the tap? It's chlorinated water. What does chlorine do? It kills bugs. We eat non-organic food that's got pesticide residues on it. What do pesticides do? They kill bugs. We eat meat that has eaten pesticide-laden food, so it still's got that residue. And most meat, especially beef, is given antibiotics because they grow faster. So we're getting all these pesticide residues and antibiotics. And what do? They kill bugs. Plus the overprescription of antibiotics destroys that gut biome. So literally we all have a bad gut. And in so many ways, I'm just going to touch on some of it, it affects our health. And in fact, one of the reasons, you can take certain diseases and go after them, but literally they really kind of all start in the gut. Even if you have a bad gut, you cannot digest food. You cannot absorb food. You can't break it down if you don't have a bad gut. If you look at ProArgin, one of the molecules or one of the nutrients we have in there is vitamin K. And one of the reasons it's very essential for cardiovascular health. One of the reasons is everybody is vitamin K deficient. Why? Because it's made in the gut. So we have to restore our gut before we look at anything else to really heal the body in so many ways. They're finding there's all kinds of studies showing this with effect on Alzheimer's, dementia. I just read a cool article. They did a study with mice, and they destroyed all the gut bacteria. And they literally, these mice were unable to recognize other mice around them. And they actually engaged in what they call high-risk behavior. So there's just a ton of research showing how this works with all the times with anxiety, depression, psychosomatic disorders like schizophrenia and such. I mean, things that we never think we'd even think about. We've never known what to do with these conditions, but that it's coming from the gut. Cardiovascular disease. We know what proarginine does, but from a cardiovascular standpoint, you look at all these inflammatory poisons that you're reabsorbing back into the body. Why do we get plaque on the arterial lining? Okay, why do we get plaque? Only one reason is your arteries are supposed to be smooth like Teflon, and when they get inflamed, they're like Velcro. Okay, and when they become inflamed, that triggers something called fibrosis, which triggers the body to make more cholesterol laid down in a Band-Aid. So obviously, by taking proarginine, increasing oxygen, that's one way. But with the gut, you're reabsorbing all these inflammatory markers into the blood, and they're the arterial lining, the brain, every organ in your body. I can go on and on. I'm trying to simplify this. Even with liver problems, people a lot of times have abnormally high liver enzymes because the liver is so busy trying to detoxify all these nasty chemicals that are coming out of a bad gut. It kind of goes on and on and on.
Wow.
Let me pull something up there. Yeah, weight. Wow. So weight, if you look at our Fortify program, so we have a Purify, a 1 week Purify, and a 1 week Fortify. If you look at the clinicals on the Fortify, and there's no proarginine in there, we know what that does. The clinicals, I mean, I think, I don't have them in front of me, but I think cholesterol drops 60%, triglycerides 30%, A1C, which is your diabetic marker, drops, even blood pressure drops, like 20 points by the gut. But if you look, and this is not a weight loss, the average person lost like 28 pounds. Because when you have a bad gut, you all these inflammatory markers in the body, high cortisol levels, it's hard to lose weight. It's hard to lose weight when you have an inflamed gut. So just by healing the gut, you lose weight. You can go on to cardiovascular disease. You can go on to basically every condition there is. That's why they call it the second brain. It affects the whole body. So I talked to Dr. Tripp when they made this program, and I went up and I got a chance to talk to him and interview him. And I know a lot about the gut, but I learned a lot from him.
Well, Dr. Sandberg, can you explain to everyone who Dr. Tripp is? Because some of our folks are new, and they don't know who he is.
Dr. Tripp
and his
Tripp
resume.
Retired, but he was a chief scientific officer for Nature Sunshine for years and years. There, he's had over 200 different patents, and he makes me look normal compared to nutrition, and he just dives into this stuff. So he understood the importance of, instead of picking out little things, and we still they're great for different diseases, to really get to the root of diseases, you have to heal the gut. And there's, just like proarginine, there's so much science to go with that. Well, I learned a lot. So we have a 1 week Purify, literally a 1 week program, and there's so many things in there that are important. Because some people say, well, I take a probiotic or I eat yogurt. That's not even close enough. First of all, if you eat yogurt, a lot of time that food is pasteurized. So you're already destroying a lot of the good bacteria, and they'll add some. But then with the sugars, I don't know how healthy it is. Second of all, the bacteria they used, this is my main question. He used one bacterium called Bacillus coagulans. And there are over 600 recognized gut bacteria. They think there's thousands and thousands, and they all have their place and need. There's Lactobacillus vulgaris. There's just a ton of them that are sold on the market. And I said, why didn't you use some of these other ones? Why did you pick Bacillus coagulans? And this is something that I learned, and I thought I knew a lot about it. When you eat a probiotic that you get in the store, okay, without a meal, you're probably getting 0% in your body. It's going to be killed in the digestive juices of the stomach. When you eat it with a food, you're maybe getting 3 or 4% at the most. That's why when you look at these, these probiotics, there's billions and billions of cultures because, 96% of them are destroyed before they even can do anything. But Bacillus coagulans is special because you absorb 100% of it, even on an empty stomach. Bacillus coagulans is one of the few spores bacteria. It is a spore. That's why it doesn't have to be refrigerated. Okay? What happens, it's a spore, so it goes through the digestive tract, and it doesn't kill any of it, and it gets to the small intestine, and it starts propagating. And then there's really cool research to do on spore bacteria, that when you set it up with a spore bacteria, what you're doing is, besides you getting all the benefit of that, you're setting the gut up for all these other bacteria to come and flourish. You know, you heard build it and they will come. It's kind of like that. You build the right environment in your gut, they will come. So you can actually even take Bacillus coagulans on an antibiotic, which is crazy. Now I understand, but that's one of the things you should be doing when you're on antibiotic. You know, make sure you're taking a spore bacteria, because you just cleaned out your gut. And show you how important the gut is. So any of you, especially women that have went on antibiotics, a lot of women will tell you that they get a yeast infection. You probably heard that a lot, right? Why is that? You got to remember, where these bacteria live, it's a very rich environment for bacteria to grow. The gut, the lips, even underneath the arm, the vaginal area of a woman is moist and it's warm, and it's blood vessels close to the surface for food. So all of a sudden you've taken all, because they're not just in your gut, by the way. I want to make sure people understand that. They're on your skin, they're on your eyes, they're on your organ, and it's everywhere. So when you've killed all the good bacteria, now you've got this beautiful area for anything to come in and flourish, like a yeast. So the good bacteria do a lot of other things. They also keep out all the yeast and molds and funguses that do a lot of bad things. So physically, they crowd them out and they use up all the nutrients. And some of the good bacteria actually put out byproducts that kill or limit the amount of these bad things coming in. So we've got a spore, which is amazing by itself. But there's also, I forget what it's called, DX something. It's a detox. So what happens is the very lining of your gut is where a lot of things happen. Kind of like with proarginine, all the activity happens in just a couple cell layer of the endothelial lining. It's not the arteries, it's that lining where all the action happens. Well, a lot of heavy metals hang out there. And heavy metals is a whole nother talk, where they just cause all kinds of problems with enzyme activity, and it's very bad. So they've got a product that literally detoxes those heavy metals from the gut. They've got the probiotic. They've got a product that has magnesium and pectin, because when you're getting rid of these poisons, right, you want them absorbed. You want the body to be able to absorb these so that you can defecate them out. Another thing that's very important is the food for bacteria. So there's probiotics and there's something called prebiotics. And what prebiotics are, they're not bacteria, but if we want these bacteria to continue to flourish and replicate, we got to feed them. So what do good bacteria like? They like soluble fiber. Okay, that's what they eat. So if we're feeding them and putting the bacteria in, we're setting up this environment to have this beautiful gut. That's why Western diets, we don't eat a lot of soluble fiber, and we're eating a lot of sugars and GMO foods that not only the good bacteria don't like, it's kind of toxic to them. And that's what the yeast and molds and fungus is like, is all those things. So we need to feed them right. So we literally have a meal replacement that not only it's got the protein, it's got a lot of other things, but it's got these soluble fibers to help feed these bacteria and propagate in this area. So that's a 1 week purify. And I got to tell you, I've seen, my wife is an ex-fitness model and she has no fat. She lost 6 pounds on the purify, and she wasn't doing it as a weight loss. Definitely happier, better mood, sleeping better. So many things are going to happen, kind of like proarginine. You know, we take it maybe for high blood pressure, but so many other things happen. That will happen with the gut. But then we've got a purify, and it's a month supply. And talking to Dr. Tripp and looking at all the research to really, really reset the gut is you do a 3-month fortify. If you really want to reset the gut, that's what you do. But even if you do the purify by itself, you'll see amazing results. If you do the fortify, even 1 month, you get amazing results. So it kind of depends on what you want to do with your health. Believe it or not, when you get a good gut, you actually make nitric oxide in the gut. There's so many different things happen in the gut. It's really hard to put in a 30-minute conversation. And to show you how, when you defecate, you know that over 50% of the fecal matter is dead bacteria. Your body has, I think, 1,000,000 times more gut bacteria than you do cells in the body. There's 100 trillion different gut bacteria in your body when you're healthy. And each one of them is doing so many different things with your body. It's really hard to put in a 20 minutes discussion.
Yeah.
Like I say, look at the clinicals just on Fortify. It's amazing. And again, it's not a weight loss, but the average person lost like 27 pounds. If you add a proarginine onto that, remember this. When you're doing proarginine and the gut, you are shutting down the body's two inflammatory pathways. There's a lot of little ones, but the main one. And if you remember that inflammation is the basis of all diseases, and you're shutting that down, you can kind of put two and two together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Now, why did the company develop them in a 3-step, purify, fortify, and protect?
Well, they did it also to make it you could do the fortify without the purify. You could just do the purify. You could do the fortify. And what happens is, it depends where you want to take your health. If you just want to do the fortify, great. But if you really do the purify, you're really getting the body ready. You're detoxifying that area. They're setting it up so someone can take this as far as they want to go. To be honest with you, if you really, really, really want to be healthy, you would do the purify and you would do the gut program every day. I mean, you do it for the rest of your life. You really would, just like you would take proarginine. Most people aren't going to do that. Maybe it's a little financially hard for some people, but it gives them the opportunity to take this where they want to take it. If you just want to do a quick purify, great. You want to take it a next step and do 1 or 2 or 3 months of fortify, great. You want to continue with this, go on to protect. It gives them the option to do that. Just like we have proarginine, and we know what that does, but we've got a ton of other products that are so important.
Such as a liquid
chlorophyll. As crazy results. Oh, the chlorophyll. I mean, that's amazing what chlorophyll does. The greens. I take it every day. Everybody in my family does.
Yes.
As good as all these products we're talking about are.
Well, can you elaborate on Can you elaborate on the essential greens? Because I think sometimes people overlook it. I take it every day, and I've noticed the benefits.
Yeah.
And I understand for our men and both women why we should take it. But this formulation is so unique to the whole nutritional industry. People don't understand how powerful that is. Maybe you can elaborate a little.
Yeah. So what happens is, why are greens so important? What they basically do, they take all kinds of different grains, right? And each one has different special properties. Barley, alfalfa, they all have different things. And they basically made a really good combination of probably 20 or 30 different ones. And why is that important? Why don't they take the mature plants? Well, if you look at a shoot of grass, right, a young shoot, what happens is the structure and the biochemistry of that is totally different than a mature plant. You get a shoot of alfalfa, whether you dehydrate it and take it a green product or you eat it, you can buy it in the store. It's high vitamin C. It's got great, many essential fatty acids, right? It's got amino acids. It's got tons of phytochemicals. And phytochemicals is, we talk about vitamins and minerals and things, but phytochemicals are all these antioxidants and different things that regulate the body and it's a whole conversation and do every great things in the body. But they're packed full of it. High vitamin C, right? Well, if you take we're talking about alfalfa. Take a mature alfalfa plant and you eat it. It has none of those things. No vitamin C, no amino acids. And by the way, probably in 2 or 3 weeks, you've got liver failure. You may need a transplant. It's actually toxic. So what happens is, when they're young shoots, the amount of great things in that our body can use are so high. So if you look at cattle or wild animals when they're grazing and there's young shoots of grass coming up or old plants, what do they eat? They're eating the young shoots, not because they taste better, because their bodies know that this is what we need. So it's, you take a greens and it's like taking, eating 3 big salads that day.
Wow.
Right? Again, soluble fiber. I mean, that's like, to me, we could throw out the gut program, pro-arginine, the greens, chlorophyll. To me, and that's the level that I think are the most important. Chlorophyll, which is also in the greens, chlorophyll is important because it's the same, but instead of iron in the middle, it's magnesium, and everybody's magnesium deficient. So it literally carries oxygen in the body.
Can you repeat that? We lost you for a second. You were going in and out.
Yeah. The chlorophyll molecule is the same structure as a red blood cell, except in the center of it, it's not iron, it's magnesium. Now, magnesium is, everybody's deficient in magnesium. It's hard to absorb, and a lot of it is because our guts, we're not getting the magnesium level to easily be absorbed, but it literally carries oxygen. Because the red blood cell has 4 oxygens on it, okay? Well, the chlorophyll has magnesium in the center and 4 oxygen. So it literally carries oxygen in the blood. So, we talk about pro-arginine delivering blood flow and oxygen. This is literally helping oxygen into the tissue. Detoxifier, I mean, it's, and then getting off the subject, as good as all these things are, if you're not taking a good multivitamin mineral supplement,
the Vitazone is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. You're missing out. I mean, where do you want to go with your health? I actually think it's better to fix your gut and then take the Vitazone, because then your body can absorb all these things. But yeah, I mean, as good as these things are, you still need magnesium. You still need all these essential minerals and vitamins and alpha lipoic acid, all these other things. So depends what you want to do with your health.
Fantastic.
So literally, for a little bit of money every day, that's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever have.
Plus, also the liquid chlorophyll is also validated to maintain alkalinity in your body, which is fantastic benefit.
100%. Didn't even get into that. Yeah. And that's a whole bag. I mean, we've kind of known that for years. When your body is acidic, it basically inflames tissue. Think about that. This is what I just said. Acidic. So why does, I hope I'm not getting off the subject. We talked about when you don't get enough oxygen, tissue get inflamed, right? Well, when you burn glucose with enough oxygen, you're burning aerobically. That's aerobic respiration. Okay? The byproduct is CO2. When you're burning it with not enough oxygen or blood flow, you're burning anaerobically. The byproduct is lactic acid. So that acid inflames tissue. So when you're acidic environment, when your body is, you're eating acidic, what's that acid doing? It's inflaming tissue. That's why everybody's acidic. So when you can alkalize, which by the way the chlorophyll does and the greens do, and to a little bit the pro-arginine does, you're getting rid of that acid in your body.
But doesn't the Purify kit, the DTX, has chlorophyll in it, and also the Fortify with the Biome Basics?
I don't think there's chlorophyll in there. I'm not sure. It could. I'm not sure on that.
Okay. Because when I read the ingredients, it stated that they had chlorophyll in it. So I was thinking that's what they put it in there for.
It could be. It could be. Yeah, it could be.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Google the second brain. Look at how all this connects. It's really amazing. There's really, I'm limited on time, but literally you've got another brain in your gut.
Okay.
And you know how your brain controls your body. Things you think about and things you don't. Your brain, you're automatically going to digest food whether you think about it or not. But all the things your brain tells your body to do. So your gut is a brain.
Yeah. Before you go, Dr. Sandberg, I really appreciate you taking time out. Do you have just a short time or 5 minutes for just a few brief questions from some of the people that may be out there understanding why microbiome is so important and so forth?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, for those who have a question, please just enter *6 on your phone, state your name, you know, and go ahead and ask your questions quickly. Remember, Dr. Sandberg is short on time, so the floor is open. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Hit *6, those who want to ask a question right now. All right, we just unmuted the call. So for those who are in a noisy environment, just press *6 to unmute. Does anyone have a question out there?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay, state your name, please, and go ahead and ask your questions. For those who are out there, to protect the integrity of the call, please mute your phone by pressing *6. Thank you.
Hello?
Go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Okay, I have a question about the arginine, actually.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, would it be helpful for elevated heart rate?
It can. It can. You got to remember, why is the heart beating so fast, right? Well, your body senses, I'm not getting enough oxygen, I'm not getting enough carbon dioxide, I'm not getting enough nutrients. So it has to either pump harder or faster, right?
Right.
So depending on a lot of things, it's either doing one or both, right? So if you're opening up the arteries and you're getting more blood flow and more oxygen, the body says we don't have to beat as fast, right?
Right.
Is that a problem with you?
No, it's my husband. He had elevated heart rate, and then he ended up having a heart attack, and this is about 10 years ago. They did quadruple bypass surgery on him, and his heart rate never came down. And of course, they want to put him on medication for that, and it makes him not able to exercise, so he doesn't take the medication.
And all of you that have noticed when you sleep, are you dreaming different? And are people like, oh my God, I'm dreaming really, really powerful. So what happens is, but not all sleeping. I'll get to that in a second. So 3,4-arginine, which is our product, gets into an enzyme called N-synthase. That's obviously in your arterial lining and many other places, and it turns into nitric oxide. Remember, nitric oxide is a signaling molecule. So one of the signals it does is cause your artery to open and dilate. Well, there's a gland in your brain called the pineal gland, and that's where your sleep patterns come and your circadian rhythm. Well, the N-synthase enzyme is in there. So when 3,4-arginine gets in there, it resets your sleep patterns. Sometimes taking it once or twice. Now, if you're not sleeping because you got back pain or you're going through divorce or money problems, that's probably not it. But it just depends. It's actually pretty easy to fix if you're one of those people that you've got things going on in your mind. I could help you with that, but that's nothing to do with pro-arginine. You know what I mean? It just depends. Right. Has he tried the pro-arginine?
I'm gonna send him some. He lives in China, so it'll be a couple weeks before he receive it. He's very big on his health. He's eating right and exercise, but he just have sleeping problem. He doesn't know where it stems from. He doesn't understand it.
Well, what you do is you try the pro-arginine first, okay? Secondly, and if you want to do health, you do it anyways. I would do the gut, okay? Remember, serotonin, and this is a part of it, serotonin and dopamine. 90% of your serotonin, 50% of your dopamine is made in a good gut. And those are your happy hormones, okay? Those are hormones that not only make you happy, but remember you got two parts of your nervous system. You got the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic is fight or flight, parasympathetic is the rest and digest. So remember when you eat a meal, a lot of people are sleepy and everything, that's your parasympathetics going way up. So a lot of people, their sympathetics are continue to go at night. And if you do a gut thing, for a lot of people, that can also help with sleep dramatically. It just, sleeping is more than, it could be different things. Most of the people that take pro-arginine, they say they're sleeping great. For me, it doesn't affect my sleep at all. But for most people it does, so I would try that first. And if not, then give me a holler. But actually, I would try the gut program.
All right, thank you so much. Dr. Sandberg, we'll take one more question and then we'll allow you to go to your appointment. Okay. So
Yes,
I have another question.
Sure.
I have
yes, I
another
have a
question.
question. Alan Davis, something to South
Yeah, go ahead.
Carolina.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
My question is that can you overdose on proarginine?
You know what? Technically, no. What would happen if you took, 30 or 40 of them? You'd probably, excuse my language, have the shit because you're, mixed berry, you have xylitol. It's going to cause you to have a little bit of a diarrhea. No, you can't OD on it, but you don't need more than 4. Remember the high desert study, 35 patients, congestive heart rate failure, renal failure, pulmonary hypertension. 4 is the therapeutic dose. You shouldn't need more than that. And by the way, where you would overdose is that, let's say you're taking 30 or 40, it wouldn't be the arginine. It would actually be an overdose of vitamin D. Like if you're taking 4 proarginines, you're getting 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. That's one of the greatest things about proarginine is the high vitamin D content. When you get your vitamin D levels in your blood between 80 and 100 IUs, breast cancer drops 95%, many other cancers 80%, cardiovascular 70%. One of the greatest things about proarginine, besides the arginine, is that high vitamin D level. So if you're doing 20, 30,000 a day, in 6-7 months, you may get too much. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin; it's a hormone.
Okay. All right.
So
One more.
yeah.
We'll take one last question.
I got
question from someone out there. Anybody else? Please hit *6. Press *6 on your phone to unmute your phones and ask a question. We'll take the last question for the night.
I have the last question. This is Ning again.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yep.
I have a
That's all right.
good
Ask your
friend.
question.
Thank you, Dr. Sandberg. So I have a very good dear friend. She has very severe Lyme disease. So she.
Oh, I got a great story on that.
Yeah. What product should I recommend for her to take? Because she's now not able to remember schedule and pretty severe.
Yeah, you know what? I've had incredible results with Lyme disease, and a long time ago when it first came out, I was reading research. One of the things that they did is they put them in hyperbaric chambers, and people were getting great results. So I have a chiropractor in outside of Philadelphia that got Lyme disease and didn't practice for over 6 months, and his friend put him on proarginine. And he was practicing within a week. And if you look at Lyme disease, besides all the other things that it messes with the heart a lot. Okay? So he had a very bad abnormal heartbeat, right? And I have the diagnostic equipment that we can measure a lot of cardiac function as well as abnormal heartbeat. So it's called a max pulse. O'Neill's probably familiar with it. So we started taking proarginine, and he was back to work in a week and didn't have that abnormal heartbeat. And remember, I met him 3 months later. We were doing a synergy meeting, and we introduced ourselves. He goes hey, you know what? I didn't take my proarginine morning, and he's feeling his pulse. He goes, my heart's all over the place. So we did it's called plasmography. We did a test on him. Sure enough, he's got abnormal heartbeats all over the map. I mean, his heart's just going nuts. I said, do me a favor, take your proarginine, come back in a couple hours, we'll test you, So he took it. He came back about 30 minutes later. He goes, I don't feel anymore. We did a test, 0. No more abnormal heartbeats. I've seen that a number of times just on Lyme disease. So I also have another lady that literally could not work or go to school. And long story how I met her, but I sent her 2 boxes of proarginine, gave it to her. Mm-hmm. And she called me and said she'd like to order more. And she goes, and she had this for 4 years, a young girl. She says, all of my Lyme symptoms are gone. All of them.
Okay. That's
so
wonderful.
I would also, for Lyme disease, definitely do that. And I just know a couple stories, but I know I've heard great things about it. Remember, when you get something like a Lyme disease, that is, again, an inflammatory condition. This virus is causing systemic inflammation. And when we stop that inflammation, we stop symptoms. We stop the disease. So now I would do proarginine, but I would also do the gut. It's the same. The cool thing about it is all these different diseases, it's the same problem. It's the same problem. I mean, look at Alzheimer's. Google type 3 diabetes. That's Alzheimer's. because diabetes is cardiovascular disease. It's a blood flow issue because diabetic patients' blood is thick because of all the sugar. It's all, that's what I like about Synergy, is the products are one little thing. That's what a drug does. We got this problem, high blood pressure, give them a drug to slow heart up. They're getting to the root of the problem. And it's almost like it's the same answer a lot of times for every condition. Does that make sense?
So the gut is the biome that you talked about, the whole theory, correct?
Yeah, you do the purify, and then you do the fortify.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah. If you look at the centenarians, you know, the people that live over 100 years old, there's groups of them all around the world, right? And one of the things that that all of them do is they eat fermented food.
Got it. I will.
Yeah, Lyme disease. I've only have a few people, but I've had incredible results with Lyme disease.
Yeah, I suspect it will. I just don't know where to start. But thank you so much for the information.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
Of course.
Thank you. Well, we'll take one last question because a lot of people, you know, are texting me and so forth. So, you know, anybody else have a question? Make it quick. Because Dr. Sandberg has to go. Go ahead and ask your question. State your name and where you're calling from, and just ask a question. Take the floor. Going once? Going twice? All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes the call. This call is being recorded. If you wish to get a copy of this call, contact the person that invited you on this call, or they will put you in contact with myself. My name is O'Neill Catnell, and I'm excited to be a part of this wonderful team. Definitely get back with the person that puts you on the call. They thought well enough of you to hear this wonderful information about Synergy line of products. Thank you so much, Dr. Sandberg, for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with the team tonight. So with that, this concludes the call. Good night and good evening to each and every one.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.